Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Ikeberg Latuche, and today we are talking about indecision and, some of the consequences. So essentially, there's this part of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex, ACC, very prevalent when it comes to decision making, attention, emotional regulation, and such. It connects with the prefrontal cortex, hypothalamus, amygdala, and various other places. So, long story short, this part of your brain helps whenever you're trying to decide various things and to problem solve and whatnot. Additionally, whenever you end up having too much choice, the paradox of choice, you end up getting overwhelmed to the point where you might not want to pick stuff. They've actually done studies where they've even shown it's like if somebody has a handful of choices versus a lot of choices, like say 5 or 6 choices versus like 25, 30 choices, you're much more likely to actually pick within the 5 and feel satisfied and confident of your choice with the smaller amount than with the larger amount because there's just too much stuff to process. The same thing can be said when it comes to actually picking anything really and paying attention to it. Picking a path forward in life, picking what hobbies you're going to do, what you're going to eat for that day, any of these other kinds of things. In fact, whenever you have too many choices there, it can end up causing a little bit of overwhelm for that part and can cause some anxieties or just some general angst or worry. That being said, we don't think as clearly when we're like that. Our brain likes to be relaxed. We actually can think up to like 20-30% smarter if we're just relaxed. Pro tip, learn to smile. Smile at yourself in the mirror. There's little mirror neurons in your brain that even if you see yourself smiling and feel yourself smiling, it's got that double impact. Kind of helps you think a little more freely. But as far as actual decision making is concerned, you can help deload that part of the brain in a couple of different ways. A, actually pick things and make a decision and stick with it. You might not pick the right thing. You can always go ahead and pick different things later. But as long as you actually commit towards it, you'll help to unload that and to think a little bit more clearly and problem solve towards it. Get clear on your objectives on that. If you're not sure what it is you're aiming to do, you can set a clear intention, write it out, maybe even do a pointing and calling, like I'm about to do this thing. I'm about to make my bed because I feel like it's going to help set up my day, or I want to be able to check something easy off my to-do list. I want to be able to come back to a nicely made bed at the end of the day. Additionally, if you're stuck on a decision or you can't help but think about whatever it is, another good trick to get that out is to actually just write it down. Even if you don't figure out the answer, you can even just write down, like, I will worry about this tonight at 7 p.m. And your brain will be like, oh, okay, cool. Well, at a subconscious level, a little bit will be deloaded and go, we have till then to worry about it. Same thing, you can be like, I will decide this tomorrow at 10 in the morning or between 8 and 10 or something like that. Either way, you actually schedule that task and your brain feels a little bit satisfied about said task. And a nice little Zen quote then as well for this is that when you commit to nothing, you're distracted by everything. So yeah, pick something, pay attention, maybe just meditate on that, and understand that if you're feeling overwhelmed by a bunch of choices, you might be spreading yourself too thin. And there's actually psychological and physiological reasons for that with how our brain is structured and how we're wired as animals. Might not be the most rational thing, but at least we're consistently irrational in that sense, and you can learn to work with it. That being said, hopefully this helps somebody if they watch it. You know how the buttons work. As far as decision making goes, again, remember, ACC, part of your brain, helps with decision making. Too many choices makes you a bit more overwhelmed. And if you're overwhelmed, you're less likely to think clearly and to problem solve and to retain and whatnot. Simply scheduling when you'll think of it or limiting your choices and choosing from those should help with that in the long term. Again, my name is Ikeberg Latuche, wishing everybody the best, happiness, freedom from suffering, and all that jazz. Thank you for watching. Tell your friends.